I guess Dr. Drew put his reputation at risk every week by coming on the Kevin and Bean Show.
He's not very smart that way.
No, he's not. For a man with a medical degree, Doctor, you make some very poor decisions. How are you, sir?
You know, you read my mind.
All right, so you're exactly the person we need to talk to. Allie did the story for us yesterday that Kit Harrington, the very popular Game of Thrones actor, he played Jon Snow on the show and should have ended up on the Iron Throne. I think we all agree.
Yeah, let's start that again.
Has been in a wellness retreat. Now, we have a couple of questions about this. First of all, is this just a euphemism for rehab? First of all, wellness retreat, is that a thing?
It's something that the publicists have invented. At least they're admitting that alcoholism is part of the treatment plan. And so, yes, that would be, therefore, if it's any kind of treatment center at all, it would include the treatment of his alcoholism. And they did mention cognitive behavioral therapy, which is one of the modalities we use in treating alcoholism. So let's just say he has alcoholism, he's getting treatment. Now, all the euphemisms they throw around it should be discarded. They only add to stigma. So that's one issue.
Why do they still do that?
I don't know. They even said fatigue, and he needs rest, and he's quiet, all the usual BS, and I won't hear of it. So that's number one. So let's call it what it is, and good for him that he's getting treatment.
Agreed. Good for him.
However, if you are paying more than $8,000 a month for treatment, you are getting ripped off, in my humble opinion. We used to do it for $3,500 a month quite effectively, and let's not forget that people do it for free all the time using community-based mutual aid societies. So over $8,000 a month, the treatment modalities are suspect and are not based in evidence-based science.
So $120,000?
Beyond. I can't even imagine. And by the way, most people in their first 3 months of treatment really don't even remember what happens. Their brains aren't right. They're detoxing. They're just getting started. They're getting enrolled in the process. It's not as though you can do intensive treatment, but here's the bigger problem. This is another case of celebrities getting special treatment. How many times have you heard me talk about that?
Many.
Whenever they get exceptional or special treatment that's above the standard, they are getting substandard care. You are getting people who are giving special consideration to this special person, which is anathema what this individual needs. This individual needs to be treated like a human being with an illness who gets the best standard of care, needs to get humble and honest and get with the program and be a human being with an illness like everybody else. It's a necessary quality of the recovery.
All right, let me ask this. He spent $120,000. It doesn't mean he automatically is getting bad treatment, or does it?
Look, I don't know the treatment center. I don't want to I'm in no position to assess it. It sounds special, doesn't it? Mm-hmm. And whenever celebrities get special treatment that other people don't have access to, I consider that a risk to that individual. Again, I will just point you to Conrad Murray as case one.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And there are many others. I used to see them hand over fist pulling celebrities out of special treatment and special relationships and special interventions. It's always a catastrophe.
Yeah.
The standard of care is the standard because the standard is the best. We all deliver the highest quality of care. If you're doing something different, you're doing something suspect.
We had to put a family member into a rehab, and we had our choices from this company. And a family member of mine was like, oh, so I can pay double for a beach view?
Right.
Or they can just go to, like, Culver City. Are you kidding me?
Right.
It's insanity.
And listen, the very first principles of recovery, the nature of addiction and alcoholism has to be assailed initially on the front of humility and rigorous honesty. That's the very first sort of frame you have to form for the patient. They have to get off their pedestal. They have to be a human with a condition. They have to look at their stuff, and they have to be treated with respect and sincerity and honesty and directness like every other human being. And then they need to get in a room with all the other human beings and share their feelings. And that requires humility and honesty, and that has to start day one.
Yeah, and starting it off by saying it's not even he's fatigued. It's like already off on the wrong foot.
I don't know that he has anything to do with that. It just offends me that publicists start that spinning that BS, and it adds to stigma. I hate it.
It's slightly enabling.
And that's exactly. I wanted to go back to that point also, Jensen. Thank you for circling back, because I feel like we should be at the point, Doctor, as you have said many times, that addiction is a disease. Nobody would ever lie about he had skin cancer. You know what I mean?
What if he had pneumonia and he went in the hospital for some antibiotics? Would you go, and by the way, he was fatigued? It's like, no, come on. Stop it.
I mean, you could have been tired if you had pneumonia.
And Jensen had a theory yesterday that kind of holds water, and I want to see if you agree that part of it might be that representatives of Stars don't want to run into any kind of insurance risk for Kit Harrington in this example's next job if he's even been associated with alcoholism.
The Lohan rule, yeah.
Interesting. But the reality is that the employer has no right to current employer or future employers has no right to any information other than that the patient had a medical problem, he's in care, it's stable, it's satisfactorily treated. That's it. That's it. Anything else is discrimination.
You've seen this a long, long time, though. This is going to take wild speculation. How long do you think it's going to be before people getting treatment is considered a positive and not a negative?
Boy, that's an interesting question because I thought we were already there.
Same.
Yeah. And I don't. It breaks my heart to think that we'll just keep struggling. I don't know. I hope most of us are there already. It's obviously, no one wants to raise their hand. No one likes raising their hand and saying, I have a psychiatric problem. Let me be the first to raise my hand and say I have chronic anxiety, I had panic in college, I have a mood disturbance, and I'm not proud of it, but hey, I'm a human being like everybody else. And we all have to stand together with these basic, honest, and authentic versions of ourselves rather than the publicist versions, which I think people are sick and tired of.
Amen.
Agreed.
Hey, are you about to get hit by a truck?
Somebody's collecting trash right here. I really am about to get my truck, but I've managed to move into position.
Dr. Drew's in a truck and trying to back it up right now.
Yeah, Dr. Drew times have been rough. Yeah, he's running a garbage truck.
I want you to get out of the street is what I'm saying. All right, Dr. Drew, Midday Live, Monday through Friday, noon to 3 on 7.
One thing.
Yes, of
I
course.
interviewed Bert Kreischer's wife on Dr. Drew After Dark. It's coming up.
Love
my
it.
God. He was so funny yesterday, but I almost called in to tell you what she told me about when they broke up, when they were dating. He was so taken with her that he started being too much of a bro, and she goes, I can't be around this. She broke up. He couldn't leave his house. She said she visited him about 2 weeks later. He hadn't eaten. He was standing in the shower crying, sipping on Slim Fast.
Oh, my God. You're saying Bert Kreischer missed a meal? That's shocking.
That's what his wife did to him. So you got to have to listen to that interview. It's pretty revealing.
Absolutely. I can't wait. And the current episode with Mike Catherwood worth checking out as well. Don't forget the Swole Patrol, Adam and Dr. Drew show, and the Dr. Drew podcast. You can find them all at drdrew.com and download the Heal app in the App Store or Google Play to see a doctor now in the comfort of your own home. As always, lots of heat and light on this topic, and we appreciate your time. Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, guys. Bye.
It's the Kevin and Bean Show. K-Rock.